Alright, kia ora men. So today we're going to have a look at some of our online work, which is going to be around rational expressions. So fractions, thinking back to fractions and trying to simplify the fraction 4x squared over 6x to the power of 5. Hopefully you remember doing it in two parts. One part where you simplify the numbers, and the next part where you simplify each letter. So the common factor with 4 and 6 is 2, so that is 2 and that is 3, because 2 times 2 is 4 and 2 times 3 is 6. Then looking at this one here, the common factor is x squared. 2 x's get cancelled out there and you're left with 3. So your answer is 2 over 3x to the power of 3. If you remember back, what we're doing is we're changing that 4 into 2 times 2 and that x into x times x. I'm just going to put dots instead of the times there. So 2 times x times x. And the bottom, that's going to be 3 times 2 times x times x times x times x times x. And so what we're doing is we're saying, because in this fraction here, everything is just times over times, we can then go cancel out our common factors. Since we're cancelling out 2x's on top, that's why I cancelled out 2 and put the 3 there. And hopefully you can see the 2 over the 3x to the power of 3 there. With rational expressions, generally there's going to be a plus in here, and hopefully you're aware you just can't go, I'm going to cancel that x out with that x and it's going to be 24 over 18. That's not how it works. What we need to do is we need to make sure that these fractions here have a common factor, and it's all in times and divide. So obviously the first one is 2 and 4 has a common factor of 2, so that goes in once, that goes in twice. But there's also this bracket as a common factor, so that cancels with that factor, which leaves you with 1/2. So what we're trying to do with these ones here that have got a plus or a minus in them is we could try and factorize. Hence why we did factorize in the last few days. So if we factorize the top line, saying the common factor with 8x and 16 is 8, so it turns into 8 lots of x plus 2. The bottom line, common factor is 6 into x plus 2. Hopefully you can now see that that common factor of x plus 2 is going to cancel. The common factor of 2 here is going to cancel with 4 and 3. So my answer is going to be 4/3. Now obviously the first couple are not as usual, or not where we're going to see a lot of this rational expressions in this course. What we'd like you to do is more see a quadratic on the top and a quadratic on the bottom, and then you're trying to solve this. But before we get into solving, which we'll do next week, we're going to have a look at some factorizing. So if I factorize the top line, I've got a common factor of x, and the other factor is x minus 4. If I can factorize x squared minus 16, what I've got is a quadratic where the two numbers multiply to negative 16 and add to 0. Now, this whole fraction here is only times, so it's x times that over x plus 4 times that. And hopefully now you can see this x minus 4 is common on both sides, so we can cancel that out and we're going to be left with x over x plus 4. Now there's a plus 4 there. I can't simplify that any further. Some of you wanted to last year cancel out the x's and make it 1 over 4. Okay, but that is wrong. You can't cancel out those x's there. So the final answer from here should be x over x plus 4. Okay, because it's pluses and minuses. So all of these rational expressions are, we're just trying to practice that. The process is to factorize the top line, factorize the bottom line, and then see if there's a common factor that can be cancelled. Okay, this one here, pause the video as you go along, make sure you can do this one. After you've paused it, you can check the answer. So two numbers that multiply to -3 that add to -2, so it's going to be x minus 3 and x plus 1. That's going to be -5 and positive 1, so x plus 1 and x minus 5. And see how that x plus 1 cancels, which is going to leave you with x minus 3 on the top and x minus 5 on the bottom. Again, we can't cancel those x's. So in 2020 you had an MCAT question that looked like that one, which again is a tricky question, but really only tricky because of the factorising that's involved. You know, where you've got to go two numbers that multiply to the -20 that add to -1. So this one here is going to be 2x minus 5, 2x plus 5, all over 2 -20. So it's going to be -5 and 4. So just writing down here my factorising, so it's 2x squared, -5x, positive 4x, minus 10. So that is hopefully my brackets. So 2x minus 5, x plus 2, that's going to cancel, which is going to leave me with my answer of 2x plus 5 over x plus 2. Okay. Now obviously these harder ones are really just harder because of the factorising. So have a crack at those, and then there's some questions.